dance round. Sound will hold you. Let's be lost. I will to stay for this. Let's be lost. I will find you. Are you ready to play and kiss? Let's be lost. I will find.
Santan daš, pa sani skonča ko štuki.
Ja ne, se ni mi ne pomaga nič.
We'll find you. Are you ready to play and kiss? Let's be lost. I will find you. Find.
Pizda, kva mi je pa zdaj en fade out na je.
Mora biti tako.
When life goes hard, love is gonna come and find you, babe. When life goes hard, love is gonna be the food you're craving.
Hello people, welcome to day 6 of the Q&A. It was really nice to interview Davor yesterday. I hope you enjoyed that. That was day 5, and I hope it was good for you to get some of his insight and just experience him, because he's adorably hilarious and very, very talented at the same time. And so yeah, if you haven't checked that out, you might want to look at it. And there was also a clip of the song Free at the beginning of yesterday's video, and today there were a couple of clips of Let's Be Lost, which we've been mixing today. There isn't a full clip because, as you may have noticed, I had to keep cutting it because that's kind of what it's like for me sitting at the back of the room. I hear a little bit, they start talking about something in Slovenian. I don't know what they're talking about. I think they're talking about football. And then, you know, another thing happens. So it's kind of a hilarious experience for me because I'm kind of just the person sitting at the back who every now and then gets invited to give an opinion, but most of the time has no idea what's going on. And then when we get to the final mix stage, they've always produced something very magic that really doesn't need a lot of my opinion. The odd occasional thing I will point out or say, but they're doing an amazing job, and it's pretty intense to do that for 12 hours a day. So, and I have to say, I'm now on, I think we're on mixing day 9 consecutively, and I'll be here for 11, and we're not going to finish. We thought we might finish in 10 days. And realistically it's going to take 15 days, we think, to do all these songs, because they just need space and time. And so this is day 9, and I'm on day 12 of 4 hours sleep a night, and I normally sleep for 8 hours. So I go to sleep at 2 AM and I wake up ping at 6 AM. Any of you watching who are parents, I don't know how you do this for like the first year of a baby's life, because it's okay to be a zombie for a few weeks and you just kind of manage to keep going, but dealing with poop at 5 AM for a year, I don't know. I guess as all my friends and my family who are parents say, you find the resources, and I'm sure you do. So tomorrow we're going to interview Atso, which will be fun. So and Davor will be there too, because Atso doesn't really speak English. I think he understands a lot, but he doesn't speak a lot. So I think the two of them will interview together, and they'll talk to us a little bit about what's going on in the studio. And that should be fun because they're hilarious. I joke to them, it's like those two men in the balcony in the Muppets. I forget their name, but it's the two old men who laugh and moan about what's going on the stage. And even though I can't understand what they're saying, I'm often laughing at them laughing just because it's funny, because they're always laughing about something. So today I'll answer the few questions I had left, and then that means on day 8, the final day, which will be Monday, I can answer any more questions if there are any more. Maybe you've run out, in which case I'll do something creative on day 8. But if you do have any final questions for me about this album, anything I've done in the past, any of the music videos I've done, or anything to do with adventures in sound, the sound healing, I'm happy to answer any of it, or anything else to do with music. And then that will be the end of this series. And I know several of you have thanked me for doing them. Well, thank you too, because it's been a really lovely way of connecting with all of you and sharing it. So I've really, really enjoyed it. So thanks back at you for kind of being in on it every single day. Obviously these will be out there for the future too, but it's been special to be doing these daily and delivering them daily. So cool. So here we go. Tony, how has music, yours and that of others, enhanced your life? I kind of answered something about how other people's music has enhanced my life the other day, but really hugely, I think before I was able to feel in the way I'm able to feel now, music was a safe place for me to feel, and it was, you know, music was a constant in my life, and I think I've always had that music channel open, so it's one of the things that has really helped me to feel connected at times. Maybe I'm struggling to feel connected. And the track that I keep using as the opening and end credit of these videos is a song called Sound from Golden World, the first song from the album Golden World. And the chorus lyric is, if you're lonely, lose yourself in sound, let your senses drown. Sound will hold you, will slow you down. And for me, those lyrics are very true, you know, and certainly were very true in the past. So I have other ways of doing that now as well. But in the past, I think music was really one of my safest and deepest places to feel when I was struggling to feel with other people or within humanity, or I was overloaded by what I was feeling. As for my own music, I think it's enhanced my life because it's made me grow as a person, and some of the doubts or challenges I had around doing music and some of the self-criticism I had around myself as a writer and a vocalist for many years was a great opportunity to just undo doubt and undo criticism, which of course we can all undo all the time in every area, but there was definitely a strong judge in me around what I produced in music for a long time, and that to liberate myself from that has been amazing. And the other thing I would honestly say would be the experiences I have. It's like I was walking around Ljubljana the other day going, how did I end up in Ljubljana? And it's like, oh yeah, music. You know, I ended up in Ljubljana for 2 months of the last 5 months. 2 months of my life I've spent here, and that is all because music carried me here. And so the relationships I'm having here and the people I've met, and there have been some really interesting parallels, like snow. So when I made Shapeshifting, when I made Golden World, and when I made making this album, snow has often been there at the beginning of the studio days. Shapeshifting was made in Wales in the Brecon Beacons Mountains, stunning place. Golden World was made in Brighton, but the first day we went to the studio, a hired studio to record Hold Me Now, which was what seeded the whole project, it snowed in a way it hadn't in Brighton for years. And here in the mountains of Slovenia, we've had really strong snow the last few days, and snow is featured, and snow is actually mentioned in the album a few times. So yeah, it's kind of interesting how I'm seeing the thread of, oh, my 24-year-old self and my 33-year-old self and my 37-year-old self are getting to see these threads of making these albums. So it's enhanced my life in enormous ways, and I'm very grateful to get to do it, and I recognise this is a very special experience, and we've been very blessed that for really not too big a budget, Devor and I have been able to afford with our own money to make this happen on a scale that you would normally have to pay an enormous amount of money for, partly because of favours and because of many people understanding that we're self-funding, so not charging the earth to us. So yeah, it's been great, thank you. Sue, what a joy it is to listen to your daily talks about music. Your joy of making this album is radiating out of you, you're truly glowing, thank you. A very simple question from me. When will the album be finished and available for us to buy and enjoy? And we've had a very similar comment from Pam, who has also said, can't wait to hear the finished project, when do you expect to release the CD? You know, it's really tough to know that. My instinct tells me it's going to be at least 3 months and maybe maximum 5 months. And the reason it's tough to know it is, while we will ultimately self-release if we have to, even if we self-release, we both feel we need representation, because we feel like we've made an album for a bigger marketplace than is the current reach of, say, my audience or Devor's world. We feel like we'd like to give this a shot at getting out there into the world at large. And so to do that, while we're not 100% convinced about record companies, because I know a lot of them are in trouble at the moment, or they're kind of dying out, and we also wouldn't want to handcuff ourselves to anything. I think we're both too independent and too progressed in our own careers to want to do that now. We do recognise the need for some ambassador for this album that is not us, that can help get it out there. So I feel like within about 3 months of the album's completion, we will know what's going on, and whether or not we're aligning with another company or we're making it ourselves. So that's about the clearest answer I can give at the moment. We both felt like we just have to finish the album, and as soon as the album's finished, the energy that the album has had, that has carried it, is going to follow through into how we get it out there. I would love to be able to give it to you guys within a month, but we also recognise that there's something important about making sure we honour the size of this album in trying to match it with a size of distribution that honours what we've created. So we will see, but thanks for your interest, and as soon as we know, you'll know. Laurelie, I didn't finish your question the other day. I actually kept some of it on reserve. I saw your comment, so I had actually already got the other part of your question on reserve, but you've asked, are there any songs that sound similar to your Golden World album? In the sense that I'm the same writer and the same voice, yes. Am I writing about the same themes, and is my voice sounding the same? No. Of course my voice is the same, as in it's coming through the same body, but whereas Golden World I feel was quite light and yin in vocals, and even the production was a lot lighter than I think Dan and I originally intended. It was very ambitious for us to do Golden World. Neither of us had ever produced a full album before, and so we co-produced that together, and I'm really proud of what we did, but the scale that I had always hoped Golden World could reach wasn't always reached in certain areas. With this one, that's not the case. I think Devor and I were both ready to really knock it out the park because we'd got to a certain level of evolution in ourselves, and the combination of the two of us really clicked. So he completes the parts of me that I don't have, and I complete the parts of him that he doesn't have, and between us, this is a kind of what we might call a bit of a stonker of an album compared to anything I've done before or he's done before. So what new instruments will we hear in Arise? Any whistling? No whistling. I whistled on Shapeshifting. I don't think I whistled on Golden World. I like a bit of whistling. My dad taught me about whistling. But I have actually, because I saw your question in advance, I have written it down because there's a lot. Bass guitar, electric and acoustic guitars, keyboards, drum programming, percussion, cymbals, marching snare drum, djembe, ridanga, violin quartet, cellist, flute, oboe, French horn, accordion, quena, samponia, charano, sitar, choirs of a few females in a choir and 9 men in a choir, vocal tonings, a vocal rock solo and a vocal opera solo. So it's pretty broad, and what's exciting for me is I've never ever had live strings on an album. In Shapeshifting and in Golden World they were programmed by a computer. There was a live cello in Hold Me Now on Golden World, and there was a double bass that was bowed in Time, but never have I had live violins, and so they're actually on 13 of 15 tracks and used in very interesting ways, not just, ballad padding where it's like, it's very interesting. Devor has written great arrangements, quite classical counterpoint arrangements that we've then shoved into a kind of pop dance atmosphere. So it's this interesting hybrid. So yeah, I'm excited for you to hear it. Okay. First, thanks for all the... I don't know who this was from, sorry, I haven't got the name here. Thank you for all the incredible work that you do. I love your stuff, thank you. Your music is beautiful and inspiring also. I've listened to many of your pieces and I'm wondering if you ever do anything that is more, searching for the accurate word, upbeat or frivolous is the word that keeps popping in. Though I'm relatively new to your stuff, so may not have found these types of songs. I'm also wondering if you have worked with or will work with drumming. Yes, no, you're not too wrong. It's kind of a bit of a joke for me with a few friends that people must think I'm very depressed if they listen to my music, and the truth is I think a lot of my childhood it was those songs that really grabbed you in a gut-wrenching emotional way that saved me, you know, because I needed to process those feelings, and that was one of the places I could. So I love writing an emotional, intense song, and I'm a real feeler of everything. So, you know, I navigate the world in feeling, and so intensity for me is kind of easy to access. However, you'll be very glad to know that this album is very different to anything I've done before. It's even the ballads kind of break out and have strong drums, and so if you want frivolous, upbeat, this is the album. And what I'll do is I'll put a link up in the corner of this screen to probably my most upbeat song on Golden World, which is a song called Fast, and a lot of people really enjoy that song and really enjoy the video. So if you click on the box that's appearing somewhere now, you'll be able to go and see that, and yeah, you might enjoy that one. Okay, finally, this is not a question, but it's a quote from Zayn, and he quoted, "Start every day singing like the birds, singing takes you beyond." And it's taken from an album called Beyond, a spiritual message by Tina Turner, featuring Deshen Shak Dagze and Regula Kurti. I hope I've pronounced those correctly. The thing that struck me about Zayn putting this on the wall was about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was sent a link to Oprah Winfrey interviewing Tina Turner, and obviously I hugely admire Tina Turner, but I was never like a fan who had her albums or anything. I always knew she was brilliant, and this interview is just wonderful and very spiritual and very a great woman who's lived a pretty unique and extraordinary life, just talking about the truth of life to her now at this stage of her life. And you need to hear it. So what I'll do is I'll put a link to the interview up on the screen now, so you can click through to that too. And that's where I discovered about this album Beyond, which I will download from iTunes when I get back to America and I can re-access my American account. Yeah, so everybody, a pleasure to talk to you. Hope you're all doing great. So as I said, tomorrow we'll talk to Atso, and then the final Q&A will be on Monday. So if there are any remaining questions you have about anything to do with the music, please just pop them underneath where I've posted this video, and I'll go to the various pages and collate them and do the final day on Monday. Lots of love. Bye-bye.
Sound will hold you, will slow